The feminine principle is about the descent from the thoughts and the mind, from the ways that we dissociate, and descending back into the body. If you don't feel safe in your body, you cannot receive more. Now, your body is a biomagnetic tool. We have so much power available to us through our body to attract or repel our desires. So magnetism isn't about doing, it's about being, and it is about tuning our body's magnetic energy field to be one that attracts towards us our desires instead of being either neutral or repelling even. We do have to meet the tensions that live deep in our bodies that are blocking us. Welcome, love, to Wild Flow, the podcast for wild and wise women devoted to honoring your body's wisdom, reclaiming your cyclical power, and walking as a feminine leader in life, love, and through your soul work and purpose. I'm Charlotte Puanto, embodiment coach, ritual priestess, menstrual cycle educator, and feminine business mentor, here to guide soul-led women to step forward as their most magical, womb-awakened, authentic, and sovereign selves. On the podcast, we have rich and deep conversations with women I deeply admire who are leading the way in the reclamation of sacred feminine power. Ready for a new episode, my love? Let's flow. If you've ever felt like you're doing all the right things in your business and in your life, but somehow things still aren't clicking the way that you desire them to, if you feel stuck, heavy, like you're butting up against the ceiling that you just can't work through, this episode is for you. Today, we're diving into the truth that your next level is not about strategy. It's not about another mindset shift or even another to-do list. It's about how you hold yourself in your body. When you're growing and looking to expand in your personal life, when you're looking to experience deeper love in your relationships, when you're looking for more fulfillment or the answers or what it is that you're truly meant to be doing in this life, when you're running your business and trying to upscale to grow to that next level where you can serve more women at a way that feels so easeful to you, to earn more money, to have more freedom, and yet you just can't quite figure it out how to make this happen, then this is wisdom medicine for you today. This is a conversation I wish I'd had sooner, because when I finally understood this, everything changed for me. So I've been in my business for a good 5-6 years now, and it has been quite the journey. Some people say running a business is your biggest professional personal development ever. I think motherhood is even more so, but business for me is a very close second. And it has been a process of finding myself just deeply, deeply called to do what it is that I felt like I was here to do, to leave employment that wasn't working for me. I started my business because I wanted to be at home more. I wanted to be here with my children. I didn't want to be racing around, sending them into daycare all day long, and then getting home and having to do dinner, bath, and bed, and then having absolutely nothing for me, feeling like I was massively overworking and barely earning enough to pay for daycare. I wanted to feel well. I wanted to understand why I would go to work and just feel so depleted, like I didn't fit in, like I was falling asleep, literally, but also metaphorically and energetically and spiritually in the work that I was doing. And it was in coming to my business after, particularly after my third child was born, that's when it really, really started, that I found myself in this place of this window of opportunity where there had been so much fear about leaving what I was doing before. And so much fear about, could I afford to start my own business, to leave what I was doing. So many stories about, well, this is too hard and it's too risky. And like, what if it doesn't work? What if this is just the worst decision ever? And then I found myself really in the position where I was pregnant with my third child and I was losing the job that I had. My contract was ending and not being renewed because I was working on a project that was not being renewed. And I found myself in this situation where I had a real chance to stay stuck in the pattern that I was in or to claim something brand new for myself. And after much, much thinking, and I'd already been doing some new trainings and started holding women's circles, but it was very, very, very low key and very much just on the side. It wasn't until this point that I thought, wow, I'm actually going to go all in on this and claim this space, claim this work, claim this business as my path, as my future. And it was a huge moment. I found myself just kind of figuring my way through, trying to work out what I was trying to do, what my the exact flavor of my work was and exactly who I wanted to serve. It was very much a trial and error until I found myself offering my first Moon Circle work where I was then being asked, "Hey, how are you offering those circles? I'd love to learn from them. I'd love to host them too. Would you teach me how to do this?" And I thought, hey, I've got an opportunity here. Listen to what's coming at me. Listen to what I'm being shown. And I have this opportunity to step in and create this course. And what I did was I created the very first iteration of the First Moon Circle Facilitator training in this first year of maternity leave, of the first year of being a mother to three children. And my coaching work hadn't really taken off to a very successful level, to the level that I needed it to sustain me. But with this first moon work, I was being given this real invitation to step in, to claim my authority and to claim my position, to claim what I knew, and to step forwards into teacher and leader. And what I decided to do and what I have known for myself to be true is that if I follow these invitations, so long as it's matched by my own energy and this feels deeply true for me and something that I actually really want to do, then for me, that is like the door is open and it is time to go. When it feels like that for me, I have to just act and let my body lead before my head can catch up, before the imposter, the inner critic, that doubt can kick in and say, hey, who do you think you are to do this? Why do you think you're the person to do this? Have you got what it takes to do this? No one's going to come to you. And you know what? I acted, I created, I made the invitation on Instagram before I had any course whatsoever. I had this outline of what I would include. I reached out to some wise women to become guest teachers on the program, but I just put this out there with a very innocent, hey, are you even interested in this? If so, I'm gonna do this. Come join us. Be part of this very first round. I had no course. I just had the concept. And I sold it. And I sold it to 12 women who came in and purchased this training. I did sell it very cheaply. When I look back now, it's like, well, but at the time it felt really expansive and like, wow, I've got this thing here. And so what I did was I created this course there and then. I made a module and then we did it. And we did this training over about, I don't know, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, something like that to start with. And I couldn't believe it. It was like, wow, I can't believe I did that. And what has been so interesting for me is that I have two sides of my business. First Moon Circles is now First Moon Circle School. We have been running the training for over 5 years. We've had a good 150 women come and take this training. We run it every year and it's growing reputation. This is a world-class program. It has been redesigned and re-performed and represented and redelivered many times over those years. And it reaches women all over the world. I'm absolutely in my element with this and feel absolutely in my authority with this because I let these nudges come to me and I responded. And for me, it's, as I say, really about working from my body and not from my head. But what's been interesting for me is on the other side of my business, which is not behind a brand or a name like First Moon Circle School. It is just behind my name, me, and it's reflective of who I am as a person. And it's me providing one on one work, programs, offers, deep dive work that isn't in this formalized training way. It is much more in this nuanced, slow, deeply transformational way where I meet my clients where they are at and we go on these very personal journeys. So this isn't about acquiring knowledge and wisdom and a certificate and going out there into the world and um, teaching these women how to hold space. It is about meeting them. It is about the mess. It is about not getting the certificate, but about going inwards. It is about reclamation. And it is in this body of work that I feel absolutely in my power, a deep, true calling to offer this work as well as the First Moon Circle work. However, this has been much harder, much more challenging for me to stand behind from such a place of authority. And this has taken me many years to cultivate because this isn't me hiding behind the name of a school. This isn't me saying, hey, you're going to get these tangible outcomes, 1, 2, 3. You're going to get this certificate. You're going to join a proven process where you're going to be able to go out there and teach this modality. No, I can't guarantee necessarily what a client of mine is going to achieve through this inner unraveling, this inner alchemy, this deep dive depths into the body, and then this rising out into the world. This is a program, this is work that takes as long as it takes. That depends on each woman coming forwards and meeting her where she is at. This can be a process that can take a long time, that is a mystery process that takes us to places that we cannot foresee yet. And so it's been interesting for me to stand in this authority. And as I grow and deepen as not just a practitioner and not just as a woman, but as I've stepped into my spiritual leadership here as a priestess as well as a coach, I have had to really work through so much um, shadow and ego and fear and scarcity in order to really claim my position and to step forwards and to let this be easy. And this is the piece that I really want to speak to today. So in this half of my business, as I like to think of it, clients were coming in, clients were coming, clients were paying me. I've never had a period where I haven't had clients. However, something was feeling off. I was doing all the right things according to the people who I'd learned from about how to run a business. I had clients, my programs were selling, money was rolling in. And yet, frustratingly, I felt like something was missing. I knew the power of my work and I knew how transformational my spaces were, but something had changed. As I had evolved as a woman, a coach, and a priestess, I realized that the work I most wanted to do had shifted. There was a newfound disconnect between the work I'd been loving doing and the work I was being called to offer and step into. As I tried to put my finger on the pulse of what this was, I felt confused, unclear, and unsure about my ability to bring this through. The more I sat in the void space between the clarity and confidence I had once enjoyed and this new level I was being beckoned into, I slipped into scarcity thinking. I started questioning my ability, my worth, my skill. Who am I to do this? Is this really what I'm meant to do? And as a result, the more I wobbled in my certainty, the more the women that I was calling in wobbled too. I began attracting clients who knew my work would be powerful, but they weren't ready to deeply commit, weren't ready to invest, surrender, and dive into the full transformation that was possible for them when we worked together. Despite knowing that I was doing all the right things in my business, the right strategy, work that had been really successful, and that I'm super trained and highly confident, an award-winning coach nonetheless. I'm a genius at what I do, really, but I was left questioning whether I was truly ready to hold the next expansion, the next level of my work. I found myself slipping out of certainty and into convincing energy. I noticed myself feeling the need to justify and prove myself, to justify the prices that I was charging, to justify that this offer would be powerful for the woman who wanted to come in. I was trying to convince myself even that I was good and ready. So, despite earning as much as ever, my business started to feel heavier than ever. This was my tower moment. I realized that my business wasn't the problem. My clients were amazing and my work was powerful. It always has been. The problem wasn't the things that I was doing. It wasn't even the strategy or the way I was selling my work. It was that my energy was off. It wasn't the pricing. It wasn't the offer. It wasn't the clients. It was me. My body was holding on to fear, contraction, and old patterns. I wasn't fully anchored into this new level, and my business was reflecting that back to me. When I finally dropped out of my mind and got back into my body to use the tools that I knew and had been practicing for so long, but in this moment of scarcity and fear, dropped these tools, then everything changed. I stopped chasing, started embodying, started listening to myself, started liberating these layers of tension and scarcity, and shifted my energy into the frequency of magnetism. I became a magnet for the wealth, the opportunities, and the women who were truly meant for my work. And I stepped into the level that I was being called to work at. And I found confidence, certainty, my authority, and leadership to do this work, this deeper, more expansive, more exciting, and fulfilling work than ever. So, most women approach growth, and most business teachers as well will teach you really that it's this old way. They might speak about ease and flow and feminine energy, but still, underneath all of that, all actions are rooted in force and hustle and mindset alone. Trying to think your way out of scarcity, doing the mindset work, doing the same morning practices every single day, regardless of your energy, regardless of where you're at in your cycle, and just feeling like if you can tap into reprogramming your thoughts, if you can just implement this new strategy, then you'll get out of your way. So push harder, tweaking strategy endlessly, getting stuck in the cycle of when I have X, then I'll feel Y. This is the old way. And the reason why everyone does this is because this is a very masculine approach. It's all kind of rooted in manifestation, this masculine energy of, hey, here's the thing that I really want. I'm going to set goals and that are wanting to call in this goal, this desired outcome in a particular time. So setting a time frame, creating attachment to time frame, and by doing. So what is it I need to do? And who is it I need to be in order to make this happen? Now, this is a very penetrating, masculine, chasing energy. It is going after your dreams, after your goals. And we hear this kind of language all the time. Fake it till you make it. And again, another example of this. If we fake it, if we put on the image, if we show ourselves to be an authority by just making this outward illusion that we are, we're going to get what we want because people are going to see us as this leader and then come running to us. Faking it till you make it doesn't work because energy doesn't lie. Your energy is everything. The frequency that you're resonating at is felt by everybody around you. So if you're faking it, if you're putting on all of this outward illusion, wearing a mask, I'm confident, I'm the leader, I'm the authority, everyone is still going to feel that you are not in this true authority energy. You're not in certainty. You're not deeply embodied in this presence. It's an illusion because your energy doesn't lie. They're going to feel it in their body that it's off. That resonance is not going to be there. Faking it till you make it doesn't work. That is why embodiment does. So instead of pursuing and hunting down and chasing and hustling and doing everything we can to pursue these goals, what we actually want to do is sink back into the feminine way of embodiment and expansion and magnetism. Here's the core truth. Your body must feel safe to receive more before more can arrive. So these feminine principles, magnetism is not about doing, it's about being, okay? So when you shift how you hold yourself, your energy, your entire energy field shifts. So instead of pursuing, what if you were to just sit back like you're reclining in the armchair into the comfort? If you're taking a pause and a breath, what if it just came to you? Sounds fanciful, doesn't it? Well, do you know what? Actually, this is not fanciful. This is real. And it's not just real. It is very possible for me and for you. And this is how I worked through my blocks. And this is how I guide you as well to move, not to break through, but to melt through. Feel the difference? Melt through these energetic blocks. Energy is everything, and your energy speaks volumes. Did you know that we all hold different frequencies, styles, strengths, and growth areas as leaders? When you're done with masculine, corporate, or patriarchal leadership, you might not even see yourself as a leader, but I know that you are because you're here listening to this. It's time to shake off all the ways you hold yourself back and step into what is possible for you when you awaken and embody your feminine leadership to show up authentically and lead with soul as you share your magic and medicine more fully in the world. Sometimes we just need a magic mirror to help us see ourselves more fully so we can appreciate our own strengths and skills and learn to really use them for good. Take my Sacred Feminine Leadership Archetype quiz now to learn how to tap into your authentic energy so when you show up, it feels easy, natural, and inspiring. Understand how to best attract your soul sister squad, how to tap into your natural wisdom, how to use your innate strengths, and how to work with your shadows. We need you in your full expression, leading from your feminine energy, so together we can create ripples of change around the world. Take my juicy quiz now to get your own keepsake guide at charlottepointo.com/quiz. So your body perceives the world. Okay? Our body is full of nerve endings all over our bodies, sensors, sensitivities all over our bodies, constantly perceiving the world around us and feeding information back through our nervous system to our brains. And our brain then makes a decision and reacts or responds to that. Okay? So when we're doing mindset work, what we're doing is we are trying to teach it to perceive that sensory input differently and to make a different choice. So instead of perceiving a threat and then reacting and going and hiding, scarcity, running, fight, flighting, freezing, fawning, it's all about trying to reprogram those subconscious thoughts that arise, that are linked to that sensory information. But we're still getting all of this information in through our body. And we are constantly fighting against these thoughts. The brain is not the only part of this puzzle that we really need to be working with. when we work with the body from an embodiment point of view, what we are doing is, instead of rising out in that religious way as well, that spiritual, masculine spiritual practice, which is all about ascension, dissociation from our body, rising up and out and trying to chase this enlightenment, this higher wisdom and goal state that exists out of our bodies. We're not trying to come into union with our power and potential by rising out of our bodies. That is not the feminine principle, because what we are doing is we are neglecting all of the power that we have in our body. And it's not true. It's not real. We can't move that way through life in the real world. The feminine principle is about the descent from the brain, from the thoughts and the mind, from the ways that we dissociate, from the ways that our brain responds to all this sensory information, and descending back into the body. This can be quite a long process. It can be quite challenging if you've had experiences in your life where you've simply not felt safe in your body. But if you don't feel safe in your body, you cannot receive more. So we have to descend back into our body to come home to ourselves, and to see your body and to work with your body as the magnet that it is. Now, your body is a biomagnetic, bioelectrical tool, a vessel. And we have so much power available to us through our body to attract or repel our desires. So magnetism isn't about doing, it's about being, and it is about tuning our body's magnetic energy field to be one that attracts towards us our desires instead of being either neutral or repelling even what it is. So when we drop back down into our bodies, we do have to meet the tensions that live deep in our bodies that are blocking us. All of the beliefs and the stories and experiences that we have lived through that stop our energy becoming magnetic. This sounds like hard work, doesn't it? I'm just sure you're listening and going, oh, trust that we women have to do the hard yards while the men get to like ascend out of their bodies and, just push through and claim and seize what happens. Sure, you could see it that way, but what actually happens is, by becoming sensitive again in our bodies, by coming home to our bodies, we actually get to sensitize to the power of our body, to the beauty of the world around us. We create safety in our body so that our power is unconditional, no matter what. Doesn't matter what is going on around us and what our bodies are perceiving in the world. If we feel rooted into our bodies, if we feel safe to exist in our bodies, safe to feel as well, then we have access to this magnetism at any time. And this practice for me is what has been so powerful. I have been working with this for a number of years. And what I know to be true is that every time I butt up against a ceiling, a block, a period of resistance, my awareness comes out of my body and up into my head. And this is when I get stuck in the thoughts, the cycle, the stories, the beliefs, the rumination, the procrastination. Actually, it's all dissociation. I'm coming out of my body and into my head, and then I get stuck. I have like creative freezes, and I go to put an offer out there or create social media content or just speak my truth or even relate to my family and friends. And I doubt myself and it doesn't flow. I don't feel like I'm capable. I feel like I start questioning absolutely everything. And the key for me is coming back into the body. It's acknowledging and witnessing what is real, what is being felt, what our needs are, acknowledging what our body is telling us, and tuning into whether our body is having a nervous system response that is not even reading what is going on around us right now, but is actually reacting to a story or an event that happened long in our past, because our body does this. This is the nervous system. It is perceiving threats that aren't even there. And it is then putting us into this response pattern as if we were living there. So when we can come into our bodies, when we can meet what is there, when we can tune into, is this actually even real? And is this mine? When we can use the embodiment tools of breath and sound, movements, touch, and awareness, we can move this energy through us so that it doesn't get stuck. Let it wash through us like a wave. And we know that energy, emotion is energy in motion, but it's moving. If we don't let it complete through us, if we don't let it move through us, if we tighten and hold it down and swallow it and tighten our bodies, this energy gets locked inside us. And this can make us sick, but it can absolutely as well keep us locked into wherever we're at, unable to grow anymore. So it's the embodiment tools and working through these processes and practices that let this energy move that can help us to complete these cycles of fear and scarcity quicker and quicker and quicker and quicker every time that we do them, every time that we butt up against that next level. You know that expression, new level, new devil? Well, I think it's like the same devil. I think it's the same patterns and nervous system wiring and embodied patterns that we just keep meeting at every level. And we need to spiral with them. You know, healing is not linear. We can't collapse our healing time or quantum leap or just even think our way out of it. We actually do have to descend into the body to do these practices and these processes. But when we spiral down, we meet it again from maybe a different perspective. Even when you think, oh, thought I dealt with this. Why am I doing this again? What's happening is when you stay with it, you have this ability to meet this faster, to move through it faster, to let it complete faster, and to integrate it a little bit more in your body. So, one of the most powerful things I have learned is that our growth doesn't happen in the mind alone. It happens actually through the body. And within the body, there are key energetic gates that either hold us back or allow us to expand. When we feel stuck, it's usually because one of these gates in our bodies is closed, contracted, or holding these old patterns. And the truth is, we can't force them to open up with our minds. We do have to move through them energetically and physically. And so I'm sure you're aware of chakras, energy centers in your body. And I've picked 5 of them that I keep coming up against again and again and again. These 5 out of the 7 traditional chakras that I really work with and really see as like these turning gates that you need to be able to unlock, to move through, to heal through, to expand through. And so I'm going to give you a little glimpse into the 5 gates of these of the body that I find really, really speak to our leadership, our ability to create what we desire, and our ability to feel safe in the world and to become magnetic. So the first one at the root, at the yoni, the vulva, the perineum. The root is all about safety and stability. It's about how we belong in the world. It's about safety. It's about how we feel to be moving through the world, to exist in our bodies. And if our root is locked up and we don't feel safe, we are tapped off to all of the power and life force that exists in our body. The root is the base, and it is where our feminine energy rises up from. So if this first gate doesn't feel rooted and solid, if you don't feel safe to expand, you will keep unconsciously sabotaging your desires. The next is the womb, the sacral chakra. And this is the creative and feminine power portal, the cauldron, where your ideas, your vision, your deep intuition flow from. This is your body's ability to die and be reborn, to create, to harvest all of that wisdom and intuition from our cyclical place, from the cosmic creative portal that lives in our womb space, arises from. And here, this can be so locked down when we are disconnected from trusting ourselves, from being tapped into our feminine body, when we aren't really working with our creativity. This is where your ideas and your vision can really start to flow from and move through you and fuel you through the world and really replenish your business. And it's not just about ideas for ideas' sake, it's about what is deeply aligned with who you are and who you serve and what is the highest vision and potential that you have. So that discernment around just because we have all these ideas doesn't mean that we should. So it's about really unlocking this place to let it flow with ease. If this is blocked, everything feels forced, everything feels stagnant, everything feels barren. The third is the heart, and this is the gate of magnetism and receiving. So your heart it has the strongest electromagnetic field in your whole body. It is the place of your passion for what you do, for who you are, for life. Joie de vivre. This comes from the heart. It is a place of love and connection, your ability to be with others, to gather, to feel safe with others, to be in a circle, to be in community. This is about letting yourself be vulnerable and be seen and be felt and letting your heartbeat pulse out into the world. The passion that you have for what you believe in, your vision, your purpose, and your mission. If your heart is guarded, and we can work with the front and the back of the heart too, you will struggle to trust, open, and receive the wealth, the love, the expansion, and support that you desire. The fourth gate is the throat, expression and visibility. So I think of the throat as being a chimney that sits above these other gates. And we have to align and work with, unleash and block and bring flow to these lower energy centers, these lower gates. But that's all very well feeling that within, but we have to be able to put that out into the world. The throat is the place of your voice, your truth, your expression, and visibility. It is about opening and clearing your throat and not forcing out your voice, but just letting your soul song be heard, be like emanate, radiate out into the world. It is about if you have this fire in your lower energy centers where this passion and creativity is burning, and then it's like the heat rises, like it has to escape. If it can't escape out of our throat, then we actually make ourselves sick. We become stagnant. It's all for nothing. We have to be able to let this heat rise and leave our bodies and be expressed into the world. But so many of us hold deep fears of being seen. We fear being judged. We fear being rejected. We fear abandonment. We fear the witch wound that lives on in us, especially those of us who are doing work in the world that is a little bit woo, spiritual, feminine. It's not mainstream. It's not corporate. It's deeply rooted in the feminine, healing, creativity, coaching, all this kind of creative and in healing work. This is what women have been killed for before, as the wise women. If you are a wise woman in any capacity, I guarantee you that this energetically lives on in you. It lives on in the collective, whether your ancestors were burned at the stake or not. It is collective. It is a collective feminine wound. We have all lived this over the last few thousand years. This is the wound of patriarchy. So it is so normal for our throats to be constricted and blocked. Our voices feel small. I used to for years, my throat would actually tighten up and I wouldn't be able to get my words out. I would come to speak and be like, oh. I just couldn't. I had this tightness that was there for years. You know what shifted it, as well as this embodiment work, was making this podcast, putting my truth out there into the unknown, with no control over who's listening to it, and trusting that my words will be received as they are meant to by the people who need it. Yes, this is not going to be for everyone. And do you know what? I am still safe. So our throat is vital. We have to do throat work. This chakra, this energy center, this chimney of the body that I just intuitively see it as all the time. We have to open this to feel deeply connected and trusting so that we can be in our authentic, full expression out in the world and be seen and use our voice for spreading healing, spreading love, building community, calling women in, receiving what it is that we need to do more of our work. And the last one I like to work with is the crown at the top of our head. And for me, this is about higher alignment and leadership, stepping into your sacred feminine leadership. This is the place that we connect to the bigger vision, where we can be connected to or blocked from divine guidance. So trusting and receiving that higher wisdom every time we come back to wobble. Hey, why is this? Why am I doing this? Why? Why does this matter to me? What is the big change that I'm a part of? What is the ripple out into the world? Can I come back to that? Can I trust that I am held as part of something bigger? When we're disconnected, we stay stuck in overthinking and doubt. Even if our throat is open and we're expressing out into the world, even if our heart is beating and we are feeling this passion and purpose and calling community in, we are not deeply held and guided by this higher wisdom and divine guidance. We get lost. We can make the wrong choices. We can follow a thread that wasn't meant for us. We can miss the synchronicities that are going to make this easier for us. We're not in true receptivity and magnetism. So I really invite you to sit with this. There are other energy centers as well, and you might be a person who works with those. Beautiful. I've just picked these 5 because they have become really part of my practice. And I'm all about simplicity and efficiency and feminine flow. And so when we align these energy centers in our body, then we can call on that security, that safety that can root us into the earth and into our body. We can be in flow with our feminine creativity and passion and primal feminine power. We're really enlivened by passion, by love, by our ability to create resonance in the world around us through our heart. We're in our full authentic expression and we are comfortable with being seen and we can receive. We are being guided and we work with that divine guidance. So I just invite you now, if you would like to just close your eyes for a moment and just to feel the earth beneath you. And just rock your feet backwards and forwards, really anchoring into the earth from the tips of your toes, the balls of your feet, and to your heels. Place a hand on your womb with your fingertips down towards your vulva and your other hand on your heart. Sitting tall, looking straight forwards, even with your eyes closed. Pulling your crown up to the sky. A queen looks forward, she does not look down. So just holding yourself, and as you breathe here, let your breath spiral down from the crown of your head, through your throat, to your heart, your womb, down to your vulva. And as you breathe in, breathe downwards, letting your diaphragm drop. And then as you exhale, release with a sound. A sigh. Mm. And as your awareness spirals down into your body, and you tune into where you are at in your life, in your personal spiritual growth, in your work and expression in the world. Just feel where you're at in relation to where you want to be. As you see this highest potential, this highest vision that you have for yourself, as you dare to dream into what you feel is possible for you, as this makes itself known to you, feel how close you are in space in relationship to this outcome, to this desire. If it was a version of you, if it was an outcome or a symbol, where in space, where are you oriented? Is this version of you so far away on the horizon you can barely see it? Is it just a little in the distance? Is it so close you can almost touch it? Is it behind you, above, below you? Is it clear what it is, or is it still shrouded in mystery? And now just notice the sensations of your body. What do you feel? What do you notice in your body in relation to this? When you observe your perception of how far or close you are to this highest version of you, what arises in your body? What do you feel? What sensations do you feel? Lightness, tingling, fire, confusion, nothing at all. And where in your body do you feel or not feel? Where you feel this is where a dominant block lives in you. And this will not be the only place, that this is where it is most active, most alive. And in order for this to be unblocked, we have to start at the beginning, at the root, at the vulva, and build safety and build flow through all of these energy gates until we are ready to work on this dominant. And we have to work our way all the way up to be fully expressed, to become fully magnetic, to be in full reciprocity, able to receive as well what it is that we are desiring and calling in. Receptivity. But this is a dance. It is reciprocal. When we can move our energy in our body, we can give that energy, radiate it outwards, and attract what it is that we desire. We can only attract what is a match for our body's energetic state. So to raise our vibration through the body is how we attract this higher desire, this higher frequency desire. And that is how we do it from ease, from flow, from our feminine energy. This is the deep work that is not being acknowledged and addressed. This is the work that is not being done, especially in the business realm. It is all about doing, strategy, knowing, head-based, dissociated. It is not arising from our body and then letting ourselves receive what it is that we would really like to receive. And this is why this is the work that I do with my one-on-one clients. This is the work that I do in my mastermind space. This is the work that is so important. And so this is why I've created my brand new signature program, Abundant and Embodied. It is not just another business course at all. This is the energetic piece that underlies everything. It is a deep feminine activation into your next level. We're not just talking about expansion, we're embodying it through deep energetic shifts, nervous system recalibration, and feminine leadership embodiment. Inside Abundant and Embodied, we journey through each of these gates, clearing the tension, clearing the energy, awakening deep embodied trust, and activating a new level of feminine leadership. But this isn't just theory. This is a full body activation. And I'm bringing this in all together in one sequence, in one program for the first time ever. A weaving together of cycle and womb wisdom, of feminine embodiment, of leadership, of transformation, of descent and rising in one program that you can come to again and again and again as much as you need to spiral through these gates of your body, to quicken the process of recalibration and to activate magnetism so that you can confidently and easily step fully into the fully expressed version of who you're here to be and to create from that magic. This is the practice that has seen my business move from underworld journeying, stuck at these places where I'm like, why can I not push past, to receiving clients coming from nowhere, joining me in my highest level containers and even in my lower level containers as well, and all the way up. Women coming even when I'm not promoting. Women coming because they feel the resonance of who I am and how I'm leading and what I'm inviting them into. This is the shift that helps you to receive more money than you thought you were made for. To see actually that the vision you hold for yourself in the highest potential is actually not the end point. That's just all you can see right now, because there is more waiting for you and you can only see what you are ready to claim. Okay? So if this resonates with you, Abundant and Embodied is currently in pre-sale now. If your body is saying yes, trust it. Drop into the portal of Abundant and Embodied before doors officially open. This is your chance to purchase this program at the best ever, honestly, genius, magic, pre-sale price before it goes public. You're going to have lifetime access to this. I cannot wait to see you inside this container. I'll put the link in the show note for you to come and purchase this. If this resonates with you, if you want this in your toolkit. Alternatively, you could do yourself a favor. If you're looking to grow your business from feminine embodied energy, if you do want the guidance of the strategic side, the mentorship side, the how-to on running a business, as well as this embodiment place, these tools and practices, this deep sisterhood, intimate, supportive space, come and join my mastermind, Rising Sacred. For a very, very short time only, for 1 week, if you join Rising Sacred, my soulful, feminine business mastermind, you will receive Abundant and Embodied for free as part of your membership, but only if you join by the 12th of March, 2025. If this episode has resonated with you, share it with another woman who needs this reminder. And if you love this conversation, I'd be so grateful if you would leave a review. This helps the podcast to reach more wild and wise women like you. And we need you. We need your magic and medicine out in the world. If you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling unsure, if you're feeling unclear, don't ignore the wisdom of your body. Drop in and do this deeper work. You can do it with me inside Abundant and Embodied on pre-sale now. Thank you so much for listening, my love. To reclaim your wild feminine power, magic, and flow is an act of sacred rebellion, and it's needed now more than ever. Share this episode with a sister, share on socials, leave a review, and support this podcast and movement to grow and deepen around the world. To discover, activate, and embody your sacred feminine leadership archetype, take the quiz now at charlottequanto.com/quiz to find if you're a mystic, muse, connector, or challenger to become the feminine leader you're born to be. And until next time, my love, be devoted to your body as guide, your cycle as oracle, and your sisterhood as allies.